Let's just get right into it, man. Let's just get with the All-Star weekend, man. Pat, what was your overall thoughts before we go like on full breakdown of each thing from All-Star weekend? What was as the I feel like the biggest NBA fan out of the four of us, like you will legitimately watch, like Pat will watch old basketball games at like 2 a.m. in the morning with like a glass of wine and just chilling. Like he'll watch 1977 finals. Like this nigga loves basketball. So from a basketball lover perspective, what was your overall take of this weekend?
I think we're over exaggerating how bad it was. I think it definitely really had bad moments. Like there were some awful moments. The skills challenge, I have no idea what that was. I don't know why we changed it. Like there was nothing wrong with the skills challenge, with the original skills challenge. I don't know what the fuck that was. So like that, I don't know. The Rising Stars game, I didn't watch this. I watched a little bit of it. I don't even know why we changed the Rising Stars game. Like where they got like this different team format. I don't know why we went away from rookie sophomores. Like I get in theory why, because the sophomores would always win. But like I thought rookie sophomores was cool. I even thought the world versus the USA was cool. I don't know why we went away from all these things, but like whatever. The 3-point contest, I think at this point is probably the marquee event of honestly probably the whole weekend. At this point. I think the Steph Sabrina thing was dope. It was a good event. It was something that, you know, maybe we can start to see more consistently down the line as you have bigger stars come in. I don't want to say bigger stars, but stars come into W, and as far as shooting becomes something that is prioritized more and more and more. The All-Star game wasn't the best. It was better than last year, though. I actually went to the All-Star. I was blessed enough to be able to cover All-Star weekend last year. That All-Star game was terrible. This one, I think, was a little bit better than that one. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we would all like to see the players, at least when it comes to the game, look like they're doing more than just going through the motions. I don't think I saw a full sprint all night, like literally all night. I think, you know, Cat was doing his thing, but even like when they had Cat up there, like, oh, he's the third person in All-Star history to score 50 points. Like, it don't even count. Like, look at all the 50-point all the 50-point All-Star performances. They started in 2017. You want to know why? Because for whatever reason, 2017, that's when people decided we don't care. We're just going to let you score and do whatever else. We're just going to run around and like shoot threes and dunk. Growing up, I mean, we didn't even see. Was there any highlights from yesterday? I mean, I think maybe like, you know, Dame. I mean, I think
there was no dunks.
Yeah,
no
like I
oops.
think. Yeah, like I think Dame and his shooting performance was incredible. Like Haliburton came out and the way he was shooting the ball. I mean, the way these players shoot the ball these days is just incredible. But usually all the highlights that we love to see and the highlights that get replayed, they came in actual game action. Like the reason why when T-Mac threw the ball off the backboard and called it dunked it was so cold because like it was the flow of the game. Where even when like Vince came down in the baseline and did that 360 dunk, flow of the game. Even when AI caught the lob and did whatever the hell he did, flow of the game. Or even I remember, I think it was like 2010 when Bron came down and like dunked on the entire Western Conference, flow of the game. I mean, even the Tim Duncan Shaq dunk. Flow, not Tim Duncan, David Robinson getting dunked on by Shaq dunk, and I think it was 96, flow of the game. So, you know, some of the highlights that we love to see come when guys are, you know, I mean, obviously they're not going to go out there and play like it's the NBA Finals, but you at least want to see them, you know, getting after it a little bit. We didn't even see anybody, you know, call for any ISOs and take a, you know, one-on-one personal battles. Like, we didn't get any of that. Again, I don't think it was as bad as people say it was, but I'm with Dante. It's the mentality for Ant to come out and say something like that as somebody who we assume is going to be a future quote-unquote face of the league. I think it's kind of disturbing. I don't think you want one of your future marquee players saying something like that. But all in all, I think, you know, Indianapolis put on a great show. I think the presentation of the game was dope. Just even, you know,
the presentation was better than the game.
Just like honoring Indiana's basketball culture. I think the biggest star of the weekend was Tyrese Haliburton. And I think when we talk about faces of the league, I don't know why. Great. Like, I don't know why people like, I think as far as outside of maybe Wemby, I don't think we have a better future ambassador for the game of basketball right now than Tyrese Haliburton. I think Tyrese Haliburton is probably, I mean, when you look at future of the league, especially when it comes to American stars, I might have to go Tyrese Haliburton right now. Like, I think that he did a great job. You know, the guy who is the star that comes from that city usually does have a huge burden on them to kind of, you know, I guess get that city out there, and just like they usually have more responsibilities. And I thought Tyrese Haliburton handled it very well.
Two things before I go. A couple things before I go to Dante and Bang. One, Courtney's in the chat. She said, "Okay, but how do we get Jokic and Luka on the same team?" I think, unless Mark Cuban has no post on it, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But Gustavo in the chat said, "What exactly to say?" When so many words, I don't have the exact quote on me, but in so many words, Ant basically said nobody wants to come to All-Star Weekend. You know, that's basically what he was saying. And there was also I don't want to. I think his name is Aaron Jones on Twitter. Let me double check. He had a reason for why he thinks it's not as good. And I think it's as reasonable as you can get, but I still don't want to hear that shit. Here we go. It's Nate Jones. I'm sorry. Nate Jones is he's an agent. He works with Dame Lillard and things like that. He actually tweeted this last year. He said, "You expect guys to play hard after 3, sometimes 4 straight days of appearances, partying late nights. Nope. The more All-Star Weekend became the scene, the less likely became we see competitive All-Star games. Who's tapped out by Sunday?" I get that, but nobody wants to hear that shit. Like, as a fan, I don't want to hear that shit. And you know, I know I'm gonna sound like real. We pay your bills, but you getting paid millions of dollars. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I just don't want to hear that shit. It comes with a certain. Go ahead.
But like, we didn't see a full sprint.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't even get a sprint, bro.
I'm not asking you to go out there and play.
I'm not asking you for like lockdown defense.
But like, damn. Like people just walk into the lane. Luka shot a 75-footer. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to go
the beginning of the game. This motherfucker, Bam Adebayo, blocked the shot, then pulled up for 3 like he's fucking Reggie Miller.
He made it though. I
don't give a damn if he made it. I don't want to see that shit. And it's like there's other things about it too. It's just like infuriates me. I told you I'm gonna be real old nigga on the porch today. The celebrity game, and this has more to do with a problem in entertainment today. I'm gonna sound like old nigga with this one. Who the fuck are these celebrities? Like who the fuck are these niggas? When you got Micah Parsons has the bet. Micah Parsons dropped 36 to 17. I saw more effort from Micah Parsons, Puka Nacua, and CJ Stroud than I saw from any of these niggas.
But time out.
Came off 6 months of actually beating niggas' ass.
But they couldn't do shit. Michael Parsons scored 36 and nigga took 31 shots. Like,
I get it. He's a football player though.
Like he was jogging. Like he made sure like
a celebrity game. That's
he wasn't doing shit. No, bro, to take that many shots. But no, I think and Pavy, you said 2017 was the change, and Damian said it in the chat. Kobe retired in 2016. And this leads to my point is part of the reason they don't give a fuck is because there are no more old dogs like to make them care. Like we was talking about before we came on The Last Dance, where Mike was in the locker room talking about Kobe, talking about the All-Star game and how it was gonna go. These niggas, like you said, they are fresh off appearances, doing endorsement deals. You know, they got certain activations they got to do for their sponsors. So, like you said, by the time the game come, they're gonna jog up and down and put on the shooting exhibition. Yeah, they can shoot the lights out. So, I mean, that was cool. But I think overall, and this leads to like my plan, I think what you should do is really revamp All-Star Saturday. And you lead off with the dunk contest until you can get the star power back. There's no need to make that the marquee event of All-Star Saturday when you got to pull niggas out the G League to fucking participate. So make that the start. And then the Ionescu and Steph shit, that was perfect. That was probably like the most exciting and the most energy you saw in the building. So since, you know, 3-point shooting is the marquee thing, you move that into the main slot. As for the skills competition, like we said, do it like back in the day. Bring in the best point guards or the best whoever, you know, it's a new age, so everybody runs point these days. So bring in your best skill people, and then you bring in the best skill people from the WNBA. Just like you bring in the best shooters from the WNBA, because I think it shouldn't be limited to just Sabrina. I think, you know, next year Caitlin Clark could be there. Kelsey Plum likes to kick it, but if she wants to participate, you put her out there. And like since the WNBA is a, you know, subsidiary of the NBA, this gives you an opportunity to put more eyes on the WNBA and those stars, which, you know, can help them get more publicity and get more bread. But I think you gotta really make Saturday night like that is your All-Star. Cancel the game 100%, and then you move the in-season tournament championship, move it to that Sunday. Neutral site. You know what I'm saying? If you got to get the tickets away, get the tickets away. I know people talk about, you know, getting people to fly in and do all that other shit. But no, at the end of the day, if the game is going to continually get worse, which it is, it's only going to get worse. I think you just move it. Like, just get rid of it. It's no point of doing it if it's gonna just sit there and be a glorified shoot around. Because like it should be the same energy you get from the Drew League, from those summer runs where guys are out there going at each other. But you don't get that. You just get a bunch of niggas going, like I said, shooting threes, and it was great. It was a great this nigga Orlando. It was a great it was a
Hey, man. First of all, look, I don't want to cut you off, Dante. I want to give Bane the floor. I just want to say this, a couple things. First of all, Kenny Smith was wild. Okay, like
he was man.
Reggie was trying to give him out, so he just kept going. Like, bro, stop. Kitty,
he
stop.
did everything but say, "Get your ass back in the kitchen."
Yeah.
He did everything. Can I say this about the Sabrina Steph thing? I want to say this in the most unproblematic way ever. I'm looking at the camera when I'm saying this. This I thought from an event perspective, it was great. If we just talk about the actual event, it was great, and I think it needs to happen more. It was the only event on All-Star Saturday that I actually watched, and I thought that she gave Steph hell of a go. Steph only won by 2-3 points, but I think for respect out of the women athletes, it needs to be more. We're praising their actual ability and giving them the credit they deserve instead of just, hey, look, they can do the same thing men do. To me, it's disrespect to what they're actually doing. That's the problem I had, and it wasn't just me. I saw multiple people in women in media spaces saying the same thing that I'm saying. It just, I felt like it was more of a, hey, look, they can do this, and putting the whole shoulder of women hoops on her back, which I felt was unfair.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of Captain Marvel vibes, my nigga. Like,
it 100% was.
Yes, but any situation when you drag them out there with the men is gonna turn into that, bro. Like, I'm sorry, it just is.
But they don't have to do that. People, the broadcasters don't have to do that.
Yes,
fans might treat it that way. Broadcasters don't have to do
that.
Nike
dropped the ad right when it was, if you can shoot, you can shoot. Like,
yeah,
they played into it off the rip.
That's what it's gonna turn into every time is women versus men in any competitive thing. Unfortunately, it's gonna turn into that. The broadcast is a whole nother completely separate, different thing. That like is I don't even Kenny probably ain't watching NBA game. Kenny don't watch NBA games. Kenny said I didn't know Haliburton could shoot like that. What? What? You didn't know he could do
highest scoring offense in the NBA.
You didn't know he could shoot? What? All right, bro. You got it, dog.
He just be running knock needed to the screen and shit. Just,
it's like this, bro. Like, it really felt like when your little cousin or your son or your daughter do something like, look at you. He picked up the remote. Like, that's how it felt. And if I was a WNBA player, I'd be disrespected. Like, what the fuck? You goddamn right I can do this. Like, that, I just didn't like the coverage of it. But we ran a long time. Bang, the floor is yours.
Oh, man. Where do I start? Paz, I understand that you said that it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. But the way that you explained it sounded terrible. Like, it sounded like the night.
Yeah, it made it worse bad. It made it
just
terrible.
I want to let you know.
Ain't that bad. You can die if you don't treat it.
He's like, man, it wasn't that bad, but then you went through like some terrible ass shit. I was sitting there like, well, it sounds bad to me. Let's start with Friday, right? If y'all got to get some better celebrities, right? Matter of fact, if I'm Chris Brown, yeah, I'm mad, all right? Because if y'all really invited me just to be like, nah, like Chris Brown would have been MVP with everybody who played. Like Michael Parsons, like I think he shot the ball 31 times. Like, for real, this is what we own. Like, that was terrible in itself. Saturday, the dunking contest needs to be first. Right? And here's the thing. I think it was somebody on there. Yeah, Orlando. Orlando, you've been cooking today too. Let me just say this. You've been cooking in the chat today. But I agree. Bron indirectly ruined the contest. But I'll go further. Indirectly, I'm not saying that this was meant to be on purpose. Stephen A. Smith said it was on purpose today. It's like, all right, fam, you're going too hard here. But I think indirectly, LeBron James messed up All-Star Weekend and the All-Star Game. And let me say this again. Indirectly, I am not shooting or stabbing or doing anything with LeBron James' legacy. But I believe that the start of the Stars not really being that involved in All-Star Weekend starts with him not doing the dunking contest. Like the dunking contest is a rite of passage. The 3-point contest, not necessarily, because that was really like the bench players who shoot the three off the bench, really getting their love and getting it in. Like, it was like, okay, this nigga that's on the bench, he's the 3-point champion. Shouts out to Tim Legler, or shouts out to Craig Hodges and stuff like that. As the 3-point shot really becomes big, that's when you see the stars get in. But on the flip side, that's when you see the stars get out of the dunking contest. Because LeBron James said he's not going to do it. So if LeBron James is not going to do it, you start seeing the stars dwindle out of not only the dunking contest, but some of the other big events as well. Again, it used to be a rite of passage. Let's even skip Michael Jordan and all of those people. Like Dr. J was in the dunking contest. Larry Nance was in the dunking contest. Clyde Drexler was in the dunking contest. It wasn't just the random ass rookie or the random ass dude on the bench that was in the dunking contest. Like, you go look at the 80s and even the 70s, and you see stars in these events. So when LeBron James decided that he's not going to do it, now it's, put $1 million up and then I'll do it and stuff like that. But it used to be a rite of passage. Even when Kobe didn't jump into the dunking contest. But then when he finally did it, it was like, oh shit, Kobe up in this joint. Hell yeah. Vince Carter. Oh shit. He's the best in-game dunker we've ever seen. And yeah, it was some hit or misses between that. But when LeBron James officially was like, nah, I'm straight, it really became, I'm straight for everything and everybody. And when it comes to the All-Star game too, I think that the best All-Star game in quite some time was that game where LeBron James didn't take the shot. But I also believe that did it a disservice for everything else. Because I think at that point, LeBron and LeBron apologists was like, yo, why are y'all taking this game so seriously? It's just an All-Star game. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody came down. Like, y'all got to remember, everybody came down on LeBron James for not taking the final shot in an All-Star game, which we all came down and we all agreed. But I think from that moment on, it was like, yo, why are we playing so hard for an All-Star game? And that's why I say indirectly. It's not something that he did on purpose. It was not something that he planned. This was not a Clutch Sports design thing to take down the All-Star game and stuff like that. But I think some of those things that were done indirectly killed what we saw from the All-Star game. Like, let's just take it to the 90s and early 2000s, even going to that moment. The first half was for play. And it was something interesting that we had said. I don't remember an alley-oop, a real true alley-oop being thrown. I saw some attempts, but it was not even any showboating. Like, even if you go to the 90s and early 2000s, just starting in that era right there, because that's the era we grew up in. Because I know somebody's going to be like, yeah, they wasn't doing this in the 90s. Nah, yes, the fuck they were. Isaiah Thomas would go throw a oop to Michael Jordan. He'd throw an oop to Mike.
He
ain't that nigga, but niggas was throwing oops to Mike. Niggas was throwing oops to Shaq. Shaq was backing people up and doing fadeaways and all that shit. The first half was meant for let's get the shits off. Halfway into the third quarter, into the fourth, all right, y'all, we playing for real now. Now we playing for real. Let's go ahead and get to it. And that's what I was kind of hoping yesterday. Because when the East got off to that big lead, y'all got to remember in the beginning of the game, they was like, oh man, the length of the West is, I don't know how the East is going to do it. Then next thing you know, the East was up 20.
Yep.
So I'm thinking like, all right, maybe in like the third quarter, somebody's going to be like, all right, make this shit close. Hell no. They were just like, yo, let's just throw some shit up. Game over. So anybody that says anything about the competitive nature to the game, that halfway in the third quarter to the fourth quarter, shit got real. All right, we about to go play. We're about to play for real, and then we'll see what happens. And we did not even get that. So for, what was his name? Nate Jones. For Nate Jones to say, oh, they was doing all of this and all of that stuff. That's why you play in the third and the fourth quarter. We're going to play around and try to do some highlights and all of that shit. But then once the second half comes, all right, man, we're about to play for real. And I think that's the disappointing part about Sunday, is that we never seen any type of competitive nature pop out, especially after the East was up by 20. Because once that was if you gonna tell me we gonna stop playing after they went up by 20, then it was literally no reason for us to watch the game if you was going to stop playing. Basically, it was like live or 2K. Hey man, we dubbed, so pass the controller. All right, we just go play around with until, blah, 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 blah. But Saturday, I think Saturday, and I agree with y'all points about, Sabrina and Steph Curry. They definitely played her like the Make-A-Wish kid. It's like, y'all seriously, for real, like y'all know what she do. But also when it comes to like the skills challenge and all of that stuff, I had asked her, I don't even remember when they took the team WNBA out of the skills challenge. Like, I remember them having the team WNBA in the skills challenge, or a woman from a team being one of the people on the skills challenge. Like, so, and then the dunking contest. For every Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, there's a Spud Webb and a Kenny Skywalker who were bench players and known players, but they wasn't like everyday stars. They became a star once they won the dunking contest. Harold Miner became a star. He became Baby Jordan once he won the dunking contest. Brent Barry became a star once he won the dunking contest. I mean, there's like Desmond, what's his name?
Zach Levine,
Desmond Mason.
Desmond Mason, yeah. Like
Jason Richardson.
Yeah, it's like
Don't do this, Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson was dead ass good.
Jason Richardson was better than motherfucking Desmond Mason.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there is those players, but those players became stars because they out-dunked the star that was in the joint. So it's a lot to go into what makes this weekend, what made this All-Star weekend to me terrible. But it's a lot of work that Adam Silver and the NBA is going to have to do to look at how to fix this, because especially when you put these in smaller markets like Indianapolis, like, I've been to Indianapolis. There's not a lot of stuff to do outside Broadway.
Go back again.
Yeah, so especially when you put them in markets like that, you got to have your star power do their thing. And LeBron James saying what he said at the end of the night at the press conference, maybe that might make a difference. But now we're also at a point where LeBron James is the old nigga.
That paper on this player haters old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna